Thank you for giving me the opportunity to appear before you and speak to this issue. I come before you as a retired school teacher, having taught school in a public housing project in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as a lawyer who spent 13 of my 15 years of practice working as an assistant county attorney, where my primary client was Children and Youth Services of Allegheny County, and my experience as a trial judge in Allegheny County, where I spent 17 years on the trial bench. 12 of those years was in the juvenile court system, where I worked extensively with families, and 5 of those years were spent in the criminal division of the Court of Common Pleas. You know, I've had the opportunity to witness firsthand the impact and the effects of drug abuse and drug use, because the single greatest reason that children come into the foster care system is because their parents are addicted to drugs or have a substance abuse problem. And I can say the same thing about the greater percentage of people who come into the criminal justice system come because of some drug-related offense, whether it's simple possession or committing crimes to support a drug habit. And so I've had the opportunity to see the underside of the drug culture in our country. And having seen what I've seen, having witnessed the broken families, the dysfunctional families, the number of children that are in the foster care system because of substance abuse, I find myself asking, why would you try or attempt to promote an industry whose very existence depends upon drug dependence in our community? Now, I've heard a lot of talk about restorative justice, and having served in the criminal court division, I would agree that there are disparities, racial disparities, in terms of who is prosecuted for possession, or more so possession with intent to deliver. Yes, there are disparities, but you don't attempt to correct a wrong with another wrong. There are other ways to correct racial disparities in the criminal justice system. And I believe that those matters can really specifically be addressed by addressing the laws as it relates to simple possession. However, I don't, and I'm all in favor of restorative justice, because I understand that even those many people who become involved in the criminal justice system are restored. I spoke before a clean slate program just this past week, and you know, I have to admit, as a former criminal court judge, I would say that I came into contact with relatively few what I would consider to be hardcore career criminals. Really. And most of the people that I came into contact with were dysfunctional, largely because of drug use and addiction. And the crimes that they committed were related to that. Yes, those people can be and have been restored on many levels. And to the extent that someone has been restored and had their life cleaned up, yes, their record should be expunged. They should be given a second chance. But that in and of itself is no justification for continuing and promoting an industry that will continue to promote drug dependence. Because there are more disparities. I mean, I haven't heard anyone talk about the disparity in the child welfare system. I haven't heard anyone talk about the disproportionate number of Black families that are being destroyed and separated in the child welfare system. I haven't heard anything about restoring families that have been destroyed by drug addiction and substance abuse. The goal of government should be to enact programs and laws which serve to uplift and strengthen the community by strengthening families and by creating an environment where children can grow and develop into responsible adults. That is not going to happen through promoting marijuana to the community in a greater way. As government, we should be about, and as a community, we should be about promoting healing rather than simply promoting treatment, because healing is permanent. And so I have to ask also, because I hear social equity being addressed as, you know, we must have people of color, or we must have African Americans participate in every level of the cannabis industry. And I guess my question is, and I heard someone say here today, for example, in Massachusetts, or in Boston, I should say, that there are something like 300 licenses, and only 10 are equity licenses. And my concern is this. Yes, you know, the fact that we have greater numbers of people being able to participate as business owners, who take part in the industry, who operate businesses, how does that spill over into the community as a whole? How does that help the community as a whole? You know, we used to hear about the trickle-down effect, and I guess the idea is that if we have black business owners or people of color owning businesses, owning cannabis businesses, somehow that's going to impact the greater community. And I would argue that there will indeed be a trickle-down effect, and that trickle-down effect will mean more broken homes, more broken families, more broken children, more crime, more homelessness, more mental illness, and more academic failures and overall dysfunction. Also, you know, I'm old enough to remember when in our society we had mom and pop drugstores, we had mom and pop grocery stores, hardware stores, and I'm old enough to have lived to see all of those industries, individual industries, swallowed up by corporate giants. So you cannot find a mom and pop drugstore almost anymore in our communities. And I believe, prophetically speaking, that that is exactly what is going to happen in this industry. That at the end of the day, these small businesses will be swallowed up by corporate giants. You cannot make profit and make money off of something that or you should not be able to, off of something that harms the community as a whole. You can't correct wrongs, or the wrongs that have been committed over the years through the criminal justice system, by creating another or utilizing another wrong. Because then all you end up with is wrong. You don't end up with an improved society. So, you know, I've heard many times, you know, that we should trust the science. I've heard someone here today talk about not only restorative justice, but health to the community. Increased marijuana use, which is what will occur, which is what is purposed to occur if you're going to have thriving businesses. You're going to have increased marijuana use, and you're going to have increased health problems. I can't understand how we can justify creating and promoting a business which every professional medical health association has repeatedly talked about in terms of the danger that it will bring to society. The American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Psychiatric Association, the Christian Medical and Dental Association, and the American Society for Addiction Medicine have all expressed their opposition for good reason, because they understand that the science is that increased use of cannabis has detrimental effects not only on our young people, but on our society as a whole. And so why would we promote such an industry and call it social equity? It's not social equity, because it's not going to benefit the masses of people in our community. Yes, it may benefit some business owners, but it's not going to benefit the masses of people. And it's those masses of people, the community at large, that I am concerned about, because that's through my experience as a judge, I have seen the harms that substance abuse causes. And I close with the remarks of Booker T. Washington, where he said that a lie cannot become the truth, that wrong cannot become right, and evil cannot become good just because a majority embraces it. We have to stand on the truth, and there is no good that can come from cannabis decriminalization. You can make changes in the criminal justice system without decriminalizing the sale of and promoting the sale of cannabis in our communities. Thank you.